About 1 in 7 people 60 and older have a brain condition that may be an early sign of Alzheimer's disease. The condition, called mild cognitive impairment, occupies a gray zone between normal aging of the brain and dementia. And most people know almost nothing about it. A national survey found that 82% of Americans are unfamiliar with the condition or know very little about it. More than half thought the symptoms sounded like normal aging, according to the survey, which was part of a special report released this week by the Alzheimer's Association. Mild cognitive impairment is often confused with normal aging because it is very subtle, says Maria Carrillo, chief science. Symptoms include forgetting people's names, forgetting perhaps that you've said something already, forgetting a story, forgetting words, she says. The condition, which affects about 10 million people in the U.S., is defined as changes in memory and thinking that are noticeable to the affected person and those around them, but not serious enough to interfere with the individual's everyday activities. That makes it tricky to diagnose, says Dr. Pierre Tariot, director of the Banner Alzheimer's Institute in Phoenix. So after talking to a patient, Tariot often asks if he can speak with their spouse, or a close family member. A patient's wife, for example, might notice that her husband is still managing to keep his appointments, Tariot says, then add, but a year ago, he had it all locked and loaded in his brain. And now, unless he writes it down 12 times and then asks me to double check, he's not going to get there. Is that mild cognitive impairment or dementia? Tariot says it would be a tough call. A diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment requires at least one visit to a doctor, Carrillo says. But that won't happen if an affected person doesn't recognize the symptoms or doesn't want to get a life-changing diagnosis. In the survey, just 40% of respondents said they would see a doctor right away if they experience symptoms associated with mild cognitive impairment. The rest said they would wait or not see a doctor at all. Reasons for avoiding the doctor included fear of receiving an incorrect diagnosis, 28%, learning they have a serious problem, 27%, fear of receiving an unnecessary treatment, 26%, and believing symptoms will resolve in time, 23%. But if people avoid seeing a doctor for their symptoms, they're not going to open the door to finding out what the underlying cause is, Carrillo says.